Good evening, everybody. This is Robin with another edition of Horror Pop After Midnight. And my guest is, she's an actress, a producer, Meredith Thomas. How's it going?
Pretty well. You forgot to say foster dog mom, because I have my foster dog here that clearly wants to be on camera. I'm well. How are you?
Pretty good. Oh, cool. Even a foster dog. Okay, that's awesome. That's a good cause.
Special appearance by Hope.
That's awesome. So how'd you start working with Samuel Gonzalez Jr. on Nightmare at Precinct 84, the horror film?
Gabby, who is also works with Sam a lot. She and I were in a Lifetime movie called Killer Advice, and I totally tormented her. I mean, it was crazy. Like I was a person that, well, I don't want to give too much away, but I guess I'll say I was like a really terrible therapist, and I was harassing her mother, and I mean, it was so crazy. I have this ridiculous shot of me like banging. I said Gabby. The reason I said Gabby is my daughter's name in Disconnected, and she just won an award yesterday at this Scotland International Festival of Cinema. So Gabby is on my mind. Something was not sounding right. GiGi is the GiGi Gustin. I hope I'm saying that right. Is the gal who I tormented in Killer Advice, Gabby GiGi. I was like, why is her last name not coming to me? Well, her last name wasn't coming to me because I was mentioning the wrong actress. GiGi has worked with Sam extensively on a lot of his horror films. And so she actually, and he came up with the story idea for Nightmare at Precinct 84. And so we had worked together in Killer Advice, and I had this point where I take her and not literally because it's a movie, but in the movie I literally bang her head against like a granite countertop. I'm like, that's really violent. She's a teenager. Like, this is really violent. But I did it because that was my character, and I chase her around, and I chase her under the bed. And so I'm sure Sam, having seen that performance, was like, oh, Meredith can do this psychotic sheriff role, which is not necessarily the type of character I play that often. I've played law enforcement before, but this was just really different for me. So I was really lucky that one, Sam decided to make both of the characters in this anthology, the characters that tie together this whole anthology of horror short films. He decided that it would be cool if they were both women. And so when they figured that out, GiGi said, what about Meredith Thomas? So she said, hey, I got this thing. I'm going to put you in touch with Sam. And that's how that happened.
That's pretty wild because you play a serial killer sheriff, and then you deal with a mysterious stranger that comes in where the film, I'm not going to rent for everybody either, but where the film has 4 terrifying tales. And then one of my favorite shorts on there is, I got a chance to see it at Nightmares Film Festival in Columbus, Nightcaller.
Oh, yes. With GiGi. Yeah,
yes.
That's a great one. It's so gorgeous. It's so beautifully shot. I'm sorry about my foster dog. I was editing, one of the things that we have to do as actors constantly is continue to gather our footage and edit it together, as it's our calling card, other than your headshot. It's a calling card to show what you can do. And so I've been really busy gathering my footage and editing together, my best clips to show to keep my work fresh out there. And Sam was nice enough to let me, see. We had an advanced screening, a sold out advanced screening, so I did get to see it on the big screen, which was fantastic. So great to see that with an audience. But I got the film. Sam let me have it so I can edit it into my reel. And the person who's helping with my reel, an actor that I really respect, he just is like, Sam is a genius. Like, this is so gorgeous. He said, looks like a $60 million movie, and that's an indie, that's an indie piece that we shot. My sections we shot in a day.
Wow.
So it's just it's just stunning, and I can't wait to edit some of that footage into my reel, because that sheriff is such a different character than I often play.
Oh, you enjoyed playing it. And when you were playing that role, since it was a first for you, how much preparation did you take into it to really get into that mind of that sheriff?
Well, it was great because I got to read the script before I said yes to it. And as soon as I read it, I was like, yes, I definitely want to do it. But I knew it would be a challenge because, again, I play kind of these bougie, rich bitch characters. And so I knew this was going to be a challenge for me to play this small town sheriff. And so that was really exciting. So as far as how long I had the script before, it was not a long time. But we did have one day where I got together with Jill, the other actress in the film, Jill Aubrey, and Sam and one of the producers, Matthew, and we sat down and we really got to kind of break down and discuss. And again, it was really important that I got to meet her and have a sense of who I'd be working with. And but we get to break down and really discuss the motivation and the beats of the film, which was amazing because you don't often get a rehearsal like that. Yeah. And then that was the same time in which I got to try on a couple of the real sheriff, those professional, came from a wardrobe place in town. And that really makes a difference when you step into that real wardrobe. And GiGi actually did the wardrobe for that too. And putting on the heaviness of that costume. And then when I got on set, you see police officers all the time on camera, but the heaviness of that belt that has not only a gun on it, but also has like a billy club and all of the accoutrements, it really shifts and the heaviness of the boots that I wore and the uncomfortableness of that thick polyester uniform, and it just feels very official and restrictive. So that was really great because it really got me into, and then the hat, it just really got me into the physicality of who a sheriff would be. And I remember I actually said to the AD, I apologize that I should take the squeaky away from my dog. The foster dog life. Hope, bring me that, honey. Get it. Good girl. Okay, give that to me. No, fine. So I said to the AD on set, I said, what, I don't know what to do physically with my, right now. How would this woman stand? And he gave me the best note. Okay, that's enough. Don't make the sheriff come out. He gave me the best note, and he said, kind of tuck your fingers into the belt there. And it was perfect because it was like, oh yeah, I'm not used to wearing a belt, but that makes perfect sense. It really physically grounded me. Because, a sheriff wasn't going to cross herself off like this, and she's not going to hold her hands on her hips. It really grounded me into the physicality of that character. So, to answer your question, not a lot of time, but But when you get into those, when you get a great costume and you step in, some people build their characters from the shoes up, you know, you step into those boots, the heaviness of that boot. And then of course, that scenery, that set was just, I mean, you could suspend your disbelief really easy. You walk onto that set and you're there. And we had the rain, and I mean, it was, even though that was all like on a set, it was just gorgeous, and it really felt so real going into my locker. And Sam was a police officer, so there's things that I would ask him too, that because I don't know I'm not skilled at holding guns, and so the weight of that gun and how you would check that and what that would mean. And so I was really pleased, because there was a part of me that's just like, I don't know if the audience is going to buy me. I play these, rich, very feminine characters, and I was really worried that I just didn't want her to come off as any type of a caricature. I wanted her to just be really real, and for the audience I didn't want there ever to be an audience person like, I don't buy Meredith Thomas as a sheriff, you know what I mean? I didn't want them to see, Meredith Thomas in there. I wanted them to see this small town sheriff. And I'm happy. I'm really, really pleased with the way it came out. And I was nervous because it was a lot to do, and a lot of with all the horror makeup, and it was a lot to get done in one day.
So was this like your first horror film you were ever in?
So, yeah, no. I've been in a couple of other shorts, but as far as feature films, I mean, a lot of the Lifetimes are very dark and violent. And I guess you'd call the Lifetimes thrillers, right?
Yeah.
But yes, as far as real true horror, I've been in a couple of short films which you would definitely consider horror. But yeah, this is my first, I guess it's my first feature film that you would consider a horror film.
That's pretty awesome. I like that. Yeah. I even respect you more.
Knowing that I have a friend that she doesn't like. I have a friend that I call a scream queen, and she didn't like that. And I thought that, I wasn't meaning it as an insult. I was like meaning it as a compliment, that she was a scream queen. Like it was a good thing, but she didn't necessarily like that. But I don't mind being called a scream queen.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. I bet GiGi likes to be called a scream queen too.
Yeah, I'm sure. Anyway, so yeah, it was great. It was a wonderful experience, and I really can't wait for, I think soon. I don't have a date, but I know that they are in the final talks with getting distribution. So soon everyone will be able to see it.
That's awesome. Now let's talk about the Lifetime films. You've been in so many Lifetime films, thrillers, and, playing the mean, richy bitchy villain and all that.
Right.
And not afraid to get your hands dirty.
I'm just really, it's such a fun genre. And then I always say, I kind of live a lifetime in every movie. There's so much, going on in those films. In some ways, there's a formula that people come to expect on Lifetime, but then on the other hand, it's just fun, the audience expects a certain level of cattiness and a certain level of heroism, like she's a victim until she's not anymore. So it's always fun to play. And I always had this thought I would end up on a soap opera, and in some ways, like, I'm doing like 2-hour soap operas in each of these movies. Crazy things are happening to these women.
So of all the Lifetime films you've been in, I mean, you've been in a lot of them. You probably like to do a lot of them. What was your favorite character of all of them that you played in all those Lifetime films? What brings
so
it?
it's definitely two, and they're very different characters, and that's why I loved it. So definitely, as we were talking about killer advice, I love, because that was really the first time that I was in one of those Lifetime movies that I was totally the villain, and I loved it. It was, because other times, like most of the other films that I had done, I was like the mom of the girl, the mom of a girl that had been done wrong, or but that was just so fun for me. I mean, she was, and they say you don't judge your characters, but she's the villain. I didn't play her like, oh, I'm the villain, but she villains always have a reason for their bad behavior. But so that was just ridiculously fun. And then the other one, which is very opposite, is called The Wrong Blind Date, and that's the one where I'm finally kind of the romantic lead in one of these Lifetime movies. Now, yes, I'm also have the bad stuff happening to me, but that was the first time that I wasn't the mom. I wasn't the mom of the bad girl or the girl that was being terrorized, or the girl that had died in a car accident, or girl that was terrorizing other people. I was the one being terrorized. I was the romantic, so that was fun. And even though it wasn't traditional romantic, it was really fun to get to do, to play that. So those would be, and they're so different. Like one, I'm, a businesswoman, and the other, I'm a girl that's, stabbing people in the knife's neck with pens,
Oh, wow. I definitely have to check those out. At least it wasn't an ice pick, right?
Yeah, I think that you haven't been in a Lifetime movie until I've died, I think Lifetime movies, there's this classic death scene in the Lifetime movies where you get strangled from behind. Like if you watch enough Lifetime movies, you'll never want to get into your car without checking the back seat again, because that's like a classic strangle from behind because someone's in your car. And I get strangled from. I always joke and I say I die in about every other movie. Like I've totally ended up in dumpsters, and I've been stabbed. And I've been the guidance counselor stabbed in the parking lot by the bad student. And but I was like, yeah, you guys kill me off in about every other movie.
That's awesome. And then you did some Lifetime films with Vivica A. Fox. You two ladies are like the top Lifetime queens.
Yeah, I am, because of Vivica, because I'm second to Vivica, mostly because I've done so many films with Vivica. So yeah, Vivica is executive producer on this whole Wrong series, and it's like a whole Wrong franchise. I mean, I don't even know how many Wrong movies, probably at least 30 or 40 Wrong movies, and most of them star Vivica now. And so I've started working really closely with that director, and so that's how that happened. But yeah, Vivica's amazing. She is such a hard worker. I mean, she is just always working, one project to the next. And so I actually second unit directed one of her series for Lifetime did the second season called Keeping Up with the Joneses. So we did that last year. I'm hoping it's going to come back for a third season, and I can do that. I can do that. Second unit direct the third season as well. But she's awesome. So we've done The Wrong. I mean, for my bigger roles, I've done The Wrong The Wrong Blind Date, which I just mentioned. I've done The Wrong Crush, was the first one I ever did with Vivica. Did The Wrong Valentine, The Wrong Boy Next Door.
That is too.
So I've done so many wrong movies. Like my dad will call up and he's like, "Oh, so how's the wrong car? How's the wrong dog?"
And let's get into another thing you really love too. Fostering dogs.
Yes, my dog breaking up my interview. Yeah, I fostered some. I fostered a few dogs before the pandemic, but I was, what they call a foster fail. Because I ended up adopting. Like I fostered one dog, it didn't work out, but then I ended up adopting that next dog, and right before the pandemic, she had passed away the November before the pandemic. And so when the pandemic hit and everybody was home, and I basically just, I have a friend that runs a rescue. It's called the Animal Rescue Mission, and she's an actress that I've known for years. And so she just posted that she needed to pick up a dog at the shelter and bring it to a doctor. And so I said, I'll do it. And we were shut down. So I was just excited to have something to do. So they brought it was in the height of the shutdown. They brought the dog out to me, and in that 45-minute ride from the shelter to the doctor's office, I was like, I gotta take it. I got that dog hard. That dog for 4 months.
That's amazing how you adopted dogs like that. But
it's like my 14th of since pandemic that I've taken care of. And they all find the perfect homes.
That's pretty awesome, man. I mean, I love dogs too. I really do. Also, you were in some music videos too. I mean, you were in a music video with Bon Jovi, and then you were in another video with Led Zeppelin, and then awesome Elton John. What was that like to be on the set with Elton John?
Well, unfortunately, I never was on set with him. I don't even know. I think he was probably in the UK when we shot the whole thing.
Uh-huh.
If you have a chance to have a look at it, it is so pretty. It's like a love letter to Los Angeles, because he wrote Tiny Dancer, I think, when he was like playing like at the Troubadour or something, and he wrote it about someone that he saw on Hollywood Boulevard, I believe. But that was the early 70s, and people weren't doing music videos. So a couple of years ago, he decided to basically kind of almost commission 3 directors to do 3 of his top songs to music videos. And so I believe he did Rocket Man as well. I'm not sure what the third one was, but so I saw that they were auditioning and it said Tiny Dancer, and I was like, oh my goodness. And so I was determined to get into that video. And I kept seeing roles come up, and nothing was felt like a perfect fit, but I was just like, I got to be in that video. So there was one that was a Marilyn Monroe impersonator. I'm like, I could do that. But when they do that, they get real Marilyn Monroe impersonators, and that there's a woman in there who does that. And then there was one that was like alcoholic woman, and I was like, I could do that, and I'm 10 years sober, so I even put a note. I'm like, I'm a sober alcoholic. I can do that. And then the third one was just they wanted a cougar type of woman. I was like, okay. So I ended up getting the audition for that, going in, and then getting the call back. And then when I got on set, the guy, they cast an actor, a soap actor, and I was like, he's older than I am. How am I the cougar here? But as it turns out, he was in a band with the casting director, and he was like, hey, you want to be in an Elton John video? So I'm like, I 3 roles I tried to get into, but it was awesome. It was, and the coolest part, other than just being in it, was right before COVID, I went to see Elton John's farewell tour. to the beginnings of his farewell tour before it got shut down for COVID. And so there I am at the Forum in Los Angeles with three of my close friends, and they play Tiny Dancer. And he's like down there on his piano, and then on the humongous screen in the stadium, or there I am. I'm like, oh my God, it was really awesome. It was, that one, a total highlight of my career.
That's awesome. How'd you become part of a Bon Jovi video too?
That was an audition. I think that was an audition too. I guess I auditioned. God, back when we went to live auditions, the industry's changed so much, but I knew the casting director on that because I think it's the same casting director that cast me in the Led Zeppelin video. And so, yeah, I think I just went in and auditioned. And again, I never met on all of these ones I've done. I've not met the artist, because they were more doing them like a mini film, So that one, it was really lovely. I played a woman who was dying of cancer, and it's a really lovely video, kind of looking back on her life. And then, so the only one that a couple I've been on, I've met the artist. I did one for a rap star. His name is Schoolboy Q. and he was on set for that, so I got to work with him. But I say I was a dubious honor there, because I had a guy, I swear to God, he was half my age, rolling a joint on my bare stomach.
So he was trying to get it.
And I remember he says to me, "So how long have you been doing this?" And I said, "Longer than you've been alive." And he was like, "No." And I said, yeah, I have. I really have. He couldn't believe it.
That is funny. So what's your next project you're going to be doing, and where can everybody find you on social media?
So you can find me. I'm at Meredith Actress everywhere. So Meredith Actress, Meredith. And then I am actually, I have another Wrong movie coming up that I'm shooting in early May. And I'm not the wrong person. I'm a good person in this one. I'll just say that. I guess I better not tell the title yet, but it's another Wrong movie that'll star Vivica, and I'll have to count. That's maybe my 10th film with her. And I'm actually doing that one. I'm doing the second unit directing on. So the director also, David, because I've worked with him so much, he let me cast some of the smaller roles on that. So I got to do that on my last second unit directing too. I got to have some fun and cast some of my friends, some of my working actor friends in roles, and got to be on set with them. So that was really fun. So that's the next thing I have coming out. I have a couple of romantic comedies coming to Up TV.
Nice.
I don't know when they're coming out. Romantic comedies are getting really hot again. So I got to a couple of those coming out on Up TV. I don't have dates on that. And then, so that's, I'm trying to think, but the big one is, of course, the Nightmare at Precinct 84, which I think is really soon. I'm in the midst of, like I am every year, doing kind of the Emmy campaigning stuff. And I have, what I have on the ballot this year is for supporting actor in a television movie. And it's a film that I did called, Dying to Win, in which I play the most horrific stage mother. I just pushed my daughter so hard. Instead of stage, it's gymnastics, but I'm just not a very nice mother.
That's awesome. Do you think you'll do more horror films?
I would love to. I mean, I have I enjoy it. Well, you've seen it. So that ending scene, oh my gosh, it just, if you know, if I get the right offers, I definitely do it. I mean, hey, look, Jamie Lee Curtis just won an Oscar, and she completely thanked the genre of horror.
Amen.
She completely acknowledged her horror fans as, you know, and as part of the making of her career. You know what I mean? So, I'm totally open to it.
All right. Thank you so much for coming on and having fun with me.
Oh my gosh, thank you for inviting me.
Oh, it was a pleasure. And everybody, thank you.
And thank you for your patience with my crazy foster dog here.
And everybody have